dangerous. You think I got that 9 on me like Bellamy, but I'm not about no felonies. Still got the weight of hell on me. I'm trying to change trajectories and break this chain of memories. That shit gets real unsettling. I think the devil's meddling. I'm leveling up to level everything in front of me. Most motherfuckers is maxed out by now. They all must be malfunctioning. It's been like 358 days since I done caught me a fade. Haterade in my cup, y'all know what's going down whenever that bitch getting raised. My shit list getting extensive. Gotta start a new page. I'm probably erasing written in pencil. My thoughts making me feel revengeful. This shit's about to get existential. Roll up a doobie and get groovy in the moonlight. I got shroom seed. I can't keep refusing it. I got too many truths.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty dang good, chat, after a win like that over a team that has been really hot in the Chicago White Sox. What the heck is going on? Obviously, things got a little hairy there in the end with Jackson Kowar on the mound, giving up a couple of home runs there in garbage time home runs. But nonetheless, man, Eugenio Suarez hits his first home run back with the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are able to tack on. What was the final score? It was 8-3, right? Sorry, I'm trying to link the stream in Discord here. So give me just a sec. But just an all around good team win, and the boys needed this one. I feel like you have to take this series of some kind. JM Kid with the 4 months just says Gino, dude. What an absolute dude! That home run made me feel something, man. Like having Gino back, that just did something for me. It scratched that itch on my brain or something like that, chat. But yeah, overall, what a great game for the boys. When you look at it, the Mariners had 11 hits, 8 runs. They scored 1 run in the second, 2 in the fourth. They had 3 in the 6th inning, 2 in the 7th inning. And that added all up to 8 runs, 11 hits for the White Sox. They only had 2 hits off of Bryan Woo. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Bryan Woo in this one. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run with 9 strikeouts. He was 1 away from his career high in strikeouts. I really wish he would have went back out there for the 8th, but it makes sense that they wanted to kind of limit his pitches a little bit in that one. So Creed with the 8 months build calzones statue. I'm assuming you mean Canzone. I mean, Dom obviously had a big home run in this one. People are talking about Josh Naylor. His bat flip was sick. Josh Naylor looks like he's starting to have a little bit of fun. Mike E with the $2 says, woo, and Gino. W. Yeah, the Mariners, the additions that they made to this lineup make this team so much fun. So much fun. Adding Gino back, Naylor has obviously been so good for the Mariners. It's just huge additions that make this lineup look like it could be the lineup. You know what I mean? This looks like it could be the lineup for the Mariners. And I fully expect them to get into the playoffs. And as long as everybody stays healthy, I truly do think that this team could do something special. I do. Yeah, and Tyler Franco mentions it. Bryce feeling good, and Victor back soon. Man, we're going for it. Getting Victor back, the vibes are going to be off the friggin' charts when Victor Robles comes back. And then, obviously, if you can get a healthy Bryce back, a guy that would be your 5th starter in this situation, somebody that is absolutely, when he's going right, one of the top 25, 50 pitchers in baseball. You know what I mean? Like, adding that piece in a stretch run, which the Mariners, again, it's August, man. Things in August can get a little, they can drag on. They're called the dog days of summer for a reason. And these guys are going out there every night and playing with the same intensity we have seen over this entire season. Ben is back. He says this team has potential. They could make the playoffs and get blasted by the Tigers. Let me pull up the standings here really quick, Ben. I have a proposal for you, Ben. Thoughts? Now, Ben, this is big for you. If the Mariners finish the season with a better record than the Tigers, you have to buy a Mariners jersey. But if the Tigers finish the season with a better record than the Mariners, then I will buy a Detroit Tigers jersey. Thoughts? Thoughts on that? Let's Detroit Dojo. Let's make that bet right now. What do you think? What do you think? I'm in for this bet. We're talking about what Buhner said. Yeah, Jay. I was honestly, it makes sense. Obviously, why Jay was in the booth, but I was still kind of shocked to hear him, kind of on the broadcast, and of course going in on the Rangers. I thought it was pretty funny though. I wonder how Booney feels about it though, having Jay kind of go in on his boys like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, just a fun overall game today. Again, you need to take this series versus the White Sox, and I really do think that you can. It's not going to be easy though. 19 months for Ian. Buy a Tigers Geno jersey. Easy. Do I get to pick the player or you do? You can pick it. You can pick the player. I feel like we can pick our own players. Unless you want to do pick a player, in which case we can do pick a player and I'll give you Dingler. You know what I mean? And you can have Dingler. Yeah, I mean the Tigers lost to the Twins, who sold everybody at the deadline, right? But with the White Sox, great start by Woo. Levi coming in with the $2. I really do wish that he would have been out there for the 8th. I think it would have been a lot of fun to have him out there in the 8th inning just to see. I mean, obviously he wasn't going to throw a complete game, but to see if he can get his 10th strikeout, I think would be super cool. With that being said, I get it. You know what I mean? I understand why they pulled him, because you want to keep that pitch count low. You're going to need him for the stretch run. It makes sense. It makes sense. Tomorrow, Jonathan Cannon on the mound versus George Kirby. Cannon has a 4.77 on the year, whereas, of course, George Kirby has a 4.13. And so we know that George has been kind of hit or miss, but this is definitely a team that I think that George can continue to. He's gotten right in his past few starts, right? But he has continued to get right. I think that this could be like putting the finishing touches on a pretty good stretch of baseball here from George Kirby versus a White Sox team that frankly is not very good. They have won 4 of their last 5 series. However, I feel like that's more fluke ball than anything. With the way this Mariners team is constructed right now versus a bunch of right-handed pitchers for the Chicago White Sox, man, I feel good. I see everyone asking about what Jay Buhner said. They were talking about like breaking things, like when you get pissed off during a game and you break something, right? And they said that Adolis Garcia, last time the Rangers were in Seattle, went into the dugout after striking out and smashed a TV monitor. And Jay Buhner says that was the hardest thing he could hit lately. And it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny for him to take a dig like that. So, do they send Kowar back down to the minors? I don't know. I truly don't know, because Colin Snyder was DFA'd. He was outrighted, but he's no longer on your 40-man, so you'd have to make some sort of move there, whether that be an injury. I don't necessarily know who you would bring up in Jackson Kowar's spot, and I think that if you're going to send Kowar down, you need to have a plan as to who you're going to bring up. Could it be Troy Taylor? It certainly could be. It could be Troy Taylor. But I don't know what the plan is with the bullpen. Thankfully, it wasn't worked. The bullpen wasn't worked very hard in this game. Obviously, they only had to cover 2 innings. So I don't think they need to make a move. I don't. But they could. They absolutely could. So, how much to extend Naylor and Geno? I think they're very different extension numbers. Naylor, man, I think Geno will cost more, but I also think that Geno is the best bet to re-sign with you for a discount, Whereas Naylor, he's younger. He, obviously has been in the playoffs plenty of times. He's a guy that is a fierce competitor, as we can see. I'm not sure. 3 for 85 is an interesting number for me because I think honestly, I think that Gino can make nearly $25 million a year. I really do. He might be willing to take a discount to stay in Seattle. For Josh Naylor, I think that he's making probably closer to 20 to 22. So yeah, just an interesting spot to be in. Chat, we're having a celebratory water. Hey John, how do you feel about Cal? Yeah, actually, let's talk about Cal Raleigh really quick. Thanks, John. Thanks, Johnny boy. I appreciate that. Anyway, see you later, John. Let's talk about Cal. He had a couple of balls hit today that I thought were going to get out. He hit one, a foul ball that was crushed, but he was a little early on it. Obviously, just missed the foul pole, and then he hit one out to right field that if it just he could just hit it a little bit further, it would have been out. I mean, it was a nice play made out there in right field, 104 miles an hour off the bat, but however, he dude, his strikeout rate has been abysmal. Let me pull up his stats over his last. We'll start with his last 7 games, but I think 15 might even be more appropriate here. One sec, chat, because I actually don't know. I just know it hasn't been great. So in his last 7 games, actually in his last 30 games, let's do this. Over Cal's last 30 games, he is hitting 181, 276, 440. Now he's hit 10 home runs in that time span in 30 games, right? He has 21 hits overall. So a third of his hits have been home runs. His strikeout rate on the year, I mean, Cal's always had a high strikeout rate. And I don't necessarily know if, because it's probably down this year just simply because he was making such good contact earlier in the year. He's putting up a 5.4 WAR season. His strikeout rate right now is down a little bit from his career high. As of right now, his strikeout rate is at 26.7%. His career average is 28.4. So he's striking out a little bit less, but I almost guarantee that his strikeout rate over the past probably 15 games is probably a lot closer to 30+%. Truly. The thing with Cal Raleigh is he can be a streaky player. We've seen that in the past. Now he was on a historic run. Obviously, we saw it for the better half of the entirety of the first season. And now he's kind of reverting into what he has been throughout most of his career. A streaky guy who's going to go out there and hit you a bunch of home runs. He's going to strike out quite a bit, and he's going to come up clutch for you plenty of times. The nice part about where the Mariners lineup is right now is that by adding Eugenio Suarez, by adding Josh Naylor, Julio obviously has been getting hot. Randy has been hot. Jorge Polanco kind of slumped there for about a month, maybe month and a half, and he's been really, really good as of late. The additions of Cole Young and Dominic Canzone, who have both been fantastic for this team, cannot go unnoticed as well. The lineup no longer... It doesn't have to be Cal every single game. The Mariners, since the trade deadline, are, 4-1? It really hasn't felt like Cal has done a whole lot in those 4 wins. And yet the Mariners are still 4-1. Now, again, it's not against the greatest opponents, but it doesn't matter. The White Sox have won 3 or 4 of their last 5 series. Like, they have been hot. Earlier in the season, it had to be Cal because Julio was going through his typical early season slump. Randy was good, but he wasn't on the heater that he is right now. It had to be Cal. He was the hottest player on the team. Now, the Mariners are able to survive a slump from Cal because of the pieces they added at the deadline, as well as guys starting to get hot. You're not going to have a guy stay hot for a full 162. It very, very, very rarely does that happen. Even Aaron Judge has had his slumps this year. The biggest thing is finding your way out of those, and I think Cal will be able to do that. Michael with the 2 months says finally Suarez hits a home run. It's been a whole 5 games, and he finally did it. He finally did it. He was able to hit a homer today. I think it was crushed. Chaos Junkie, $5. The wife and I got an extra Ichiro pop tonight. Trade you for some Mojo merch. Oh, interesting. Okay, Chaos Junkie. I like the way you think. Chaos Junkie with the 5. I'm in. Let's shoot me a DM or something on, if you follow us on Instagram or on Twitter, whatever. Shoot us a DM, because I know Joe was really interested in those Ichiro pops, so I think it'd be cool to get that for him. Dude, appreciate that, Chaos Junkie. Hell yeah. Glad you guys had a good time at the ballpark. Rather have a hot Cal in the playoffs than right now, to be fair. Absolutely, Linda. I think that's a great shout. Having a hot Cal in the playoffs is huge, because you know how clutch he can be, and you're gonna need it. That's a really good call. Is second half Julio showing up, says Jackson? Yeah, it kind of feels that way, doesn't it? I mean, he's been hitting really well lately. He's been hitting the ball hard, and he's getting the ball in the air. Now, we've talked about it. We've talked about it kind of a lot, that he needs to pull the ball hard in the air, and he's starting to do that, which is good to see. So, Colin Snyder got back to AAA yesterday. He cleared waivers and was with Tacoma. I would assume they would call him back up soon if he performs well. Yeah, Steamboat. The hardest part about that is because he was placed on he was DFA'd. That means that he needs to be re-added to the 40-man roster, and I don't necessarily know what the corresponding move would be. Now, there's always moves that can be made for a 40-man. There's always guys that you can make a move on. It's just, I'm not sure who that would be right now. But Josh Naylor is the fastest player in MLB history. Dude, Naylor going out and stealing 8 bases in his first week with the Mariners is certainly not something I was expecting. Randy and Julio are currently having 2020 seasons. Josh Naylor is well on his way to a 2020 season, chat. Josh Naylor has a real chance to have a 2020. The Mariners might have 3 guys with 2020 seasons in their lineup. This is the best Mariners lineup in a very, very long time. Very long time. Up and down the lineup. Like, there have been really good lineups in the past. Obviously, you think about it. It was, Gene Segura, Kyle Seager, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Mitch Haniger, right? Like, you think about that top 5. That was a really good top 5. Do I think this top 5 is better? Do I think this top 5 is better than that top 5? Different era of baseball. Things are different now than it was, when the Mariners were running that lineup. But I think that as a whole, when you add Cole Young, J.P. Crawford, and Dominic Canzone at the bottom of that, yes, this is probably the best Mariners lineup since the early 2000s. Truthfully. Insane. Just an insane lineup. Good win for your M's. This AL West race is going to be cinema. Our lineup is getting back to full strength. Outside chance Jordan comes back at the end of the month. Doubt it, though. 8 and 7 runs the last 2 games. Yeah, Black Mantis. It's going to be fun. The AL West is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, I mean, don't get me wrong. I very much dislike Carlos Correa. I think it is very cool that they went out and reacquired him. I do. I think that's cool. And Jeremy Pena, obviously, is having a great year. So, good for them. Kyle Jones with the 14 months says, hi, Colton. Hi, Kyle. Hi, Kyle. Can we catch the Astrals? Yes, absolutely. Especially with the way this team is playing right now, with kind of the opponents they have in front of him over the next, week or 2. I think it's certainly possible, but the Astros are starting to might be starting to heat back up again, right? They added Correa. Jeremy Pena is back off the injured list. You know what I mean? And so the Astros, and they might be getting Isak Paredes back at some point, apparently, which is wild to me. Can the Marlins win a game and the Royals? No. finally have a lineup of professional hitters. Almost can't believe it. Chat, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but thank you, Jerry DePoto. Thank you, Justin Hollander. This one's going to hurt the most. This one's going to hurt the most. And thank you, John Stanton. Ugh! Nah. Never mind. Nah, I take back that last one. The Mariners went out there and added some really big bats at this deadline. And it's good faith in the players. It's good faith in the fan base. Like, for all the crap that we have given the front office and the ownership, and keep in mind, this is very much a what have you done for me lately. So it's like that makes it a little bit difficult, but for all the crap that we have given them, like they made the right move. They made the right move in this situation. So, do you think that Jerry and Justin get an extension after this? If they make the playoffs, Mike, yes. As long as they make the playoffs, I feel like they will get an extension. For them to make the playoffs twice in 4 years, like that is more than any front office has done for this Mariners team in 2 decades. I think that they would do that. Yes, I think they would extend them. Good to hear that Paredes isn't hurt terribly bad. I was worried he tore his hamstring or something. That's the thing. It's like I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure they want him to have the season-ending surgery, but he doesn't want to have the surgery, and he wants to rehab it and try to get back this year. I don't know. I don't know if it's a great idea for him, but yeah. If the Mariners make the World Series, there's no way they don't re-sign Naylor and Gino. That would be malpractice. Oh, Black Mantis. As Mariners fans, there's a way that they don't re-sign them. There's a way. As Mariners fans, they always find a way. Canzone, Robles, Polanco, platoon at DH and right field. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they find at-bats when Victor Robles comes back for him and Canzone. I don't know if it's going to be a strict platoon. I don't know if it's going to be Victor versus left-handed pitching, Canzone versus righties. I don't know. I think that you'll ride the hot hand. I mean, keep in mind, Victor has been out for the majority of this season. You can't expect Victor Robles to come and back and be the guy that he was for you in 2024. At least not right away. And I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get to that point. However, I think that the value for Victor Robles, even if he's not starting, you have the value that he adds on your bench, both with defense as well. He could be a late inning defense guy for Canzone, and the speed that he brings where you can pinch run him for Canzone at some point is huge. It's absolutely massive for this team to get Victor Robles back. Bryce Miller could be the X factor. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the podcast today. Bryce Miller could be the X factor for this team, because if he is 85%, maybe even 80% of what he was in 2024, the Mariners are in a very, very good spot. And when you get to the playoffs, you're not going to use all five of your starters. I think you maybe move Bryce to the bullpen and see if his stuff can play up even more out of like, you know, a short 1-2 innings. You know what I mean? I truly think that could be an option. Demo go bye-bye once Robles is back? That's a tough question. I would say yes. But Dylan Moore is a lot more versatile than Victor Robles. I think that the next person off this team, chat, I really do. The next person off this team has to be Donovan Solano. He has not gotten an AB since the Mariners acquired. He has not gotten an AB since the Mariners went out there and acquired Josh Naylor, and I don't see any way that he would be. I truly don't see any way that he is going to get an at-bat moving forward with how hot Naylor has been so far, how good he has been so far. I think Solano is the next guy off. Dylan Moore, while offensively he provides less than Donovan Solano, you don't need him for his offense, because they are both providing the same amount when they're sitting on the bench offensively, right? Neither of them are doing anything. But what Dylan Moore adds is speed. We've seen him go out and get the money bag multiple times for this team, even in recent days. And defense. If you have Dylan Moore on your bench, those guys are incredibly Terrence Gore. You guys know who Terrence Gore is? He made a living out of being one of the fastest guys in baseball. Actually, how many rings did he win? Hold on. Hold the phone. Let me familiarize yourself. Let me familiarize you guys with Terrence Gore. All right. Terrence Gore is a 2-time World Series champion. His position on Baseball Reference is literally listed as a pinch runner. It's literally listed as a pinch runner, chat. He has a career 58 OPS plus. This guy played for 8 years in the big leagues. 8 years Terrence Gore did in the big leagues. He had 85 plate appearances, chat. 85 plate appearances. He was averaging, the only season that he had above 10 plate appearances, holy crap. The only season that he had above 10 plate appearances was 2019, where he had 58. 2014 he had 2. 2015 he had 4. 2016 he had 3. 2017 he had 5. 2018 he had 5. And then in 2019 he had 58 at-bats. That is who Terrence Gore is. But he stole the money bag for you. He was your pinch runner in the playoffs even. That's why he is a 2-time World Series champion. Those guys are incredibly valuable, and I think that is exactly what Dylan Moore can be. That is exactly what Dylan Moore can be for the majority of the rest of this season. Now, again, I don't know if he sticks it out the rest of the year. Of course, there's been talk. I see people mention it in the chat. What do you do if Bleav comes back? I honestly don't think that Bleav comes back. I know he's ahead of schedule. I know that Ryan Bleav is ahead of schedule. I don't think it's fair to him to come back with like a week left in the season and expect him to be ready to go for a playoff run when he's still trying to get his feet back from him. I think they give him the offseason and have him ready to go for next year. That's kind of what I expect. Lourdes Gurriel just homered off a 104-mile-per-hour Mason Miller. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. So I don't think Ryan Bleav should come back this year. I think that he should just continue to rehab it and be 100% ready to go. Bleav or Young, Cole Young. Cole Young has been fantastic over the past, basically ever since his first little stretch of games. He has been so good. Cole Young has been one of your best hitters. Young over Bleav all day long. Young should be your starting second baseman in the playoffs. It's true. He should be your starting second baseman in the playoffs. Polo should be your DH. The lineup that the Mariners have been running out every single day. Randy, Cal, Julio, Naylor, Gino. Okay? And then you go some combination of Polo, Canzone, J.P. Crawford, and Cole Young. That should be your lineup every single day. Left-handed or right-handed. I do not care. That should be your lineup every single day. That's kind of where I'm at with this lineup right now. Robles or Canzone. I think both guys have a spot on this roster. I think that Canzone, the way he's been playing right now, he is your right fielder, and you let Robles kind of come back, let him get, 50 to 60 ABs in the minor leagues, and hopefully he's ready to go. Have him as a defensive replacement if you need to. Have him as a speed guy on your bench. But I think that Robles plays a big role, and if he can hit, left-handed pitching, and Canzone is in there to hit right-handed pitching, that's a very, very good, right field. Truly. Bleav should still be on the roster 100%. I just don't know why. I don't know what. So assuming that, let's say that Victor Robles and Ryan Bleav both come back. In that situation, and Luke Raley, right? So Luke Raley, Ryan Bliss, Victor Robles all come back. I don't know what you do with, like, you have Raley as your pinch hitter to hopefully hit you a big time homer, maybe. You have, so you get rid of Solano, you get rid of Demo, and you get rid of Master Boney in that situation. So Solano, Master Boney, Demo off the team, added to the team, Robles, Raley, and Bliss. Sure. I don't know how long Luke Raley is going to be out, but if he's able to come back this year, he's definitely on this team. I don't think he has a starting spot, though. I think Canzone has played well enough, at least, and this can change, right? If Luke comes back and Canzone's struggling, then it makes sense for Luke to go out there and play right field for this team. But right now, he's on your bench. Robles is on your bench. Bliss is on your bench. That's fine. Like that's almost fine. I just think that if this team makes it to the playoffs, I think that Bliss, man, I do think he could play a role. I do. You need some right-handed bats on your bench. Robles and Bliss will do that for you. Then you have Garver and Raley on your bench, so Raley being the one lefty. Yeah, I think that's fine, chat. I think that's fine. I think that if everyone gets healthy and nobody else gets hurt, obviously this is assuming that nobody gets hurt when those guys come back, right? That's what we're assuming here. Then sure, I think that's a fine point. Michael brings up a really good point. Rosters do expand soon. They expand at the beginning of September, so you will be able to carry 28 guys for a little while. So that's 2 guys you can add, assuming that's probably Luke Raley and Victor Robles. I assume those are the 2 guys you add when rosters expand. That the timeline for that kind of makes sense. In the playoffs, though, I believe it still has to be 26 guys. And so you'd have to find a way to cut down on those rosters. Assuming at that point that it would be Dylan Moore, Donovan Solano off this team. Ben Williamson, would be a great addition. I agree, Linda. That's a good shout. Ben Williamson in there to maybe be a defensive replacement over at third base for Gino late in games, I think would be fantastic. Yeah. No, I'm that's another right-handed bat you could add for sure. I think Williamson and Ford stay in the minors the rest of the year. I could, again, like Linda just mentioned, Mara, I do think that Williamson for a playoff run would come up. I think that he would be a defensive replacement for you. Yep. I think that's what it would be. Ford, I just don't see a way that he is on this team without an injury. I don't see a way that Harry Ford is on this team without an injury, which sucks because I would love to have him on this team. Yeah, so it's 26 guys for the playoffs, locked in, so you can't make any moves unless there is an injury, which we have seen in the past. So, with maximum, yeah, so playoff rosters are the same as regular season rosters. 26 guys, 13 pitchers max. Yep. So you would have to cut down. I would assume the bench in the playoffs, as of right now, chat, again, assuming everybody is healthy, would be Robles, Raley, Garver, and Williamson. That's what I assume it would be. So, but just, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, chat. Just a fantastic win from the Mariners. They need to come out there and get the game tomorrow. Jonathan Cannon on the mound for the White Sox. George on the mound for the Mariners. I'll be live after tomorrow's game as well. So fingers crossed that goes well. But I am going to get out of here because it's already, 10 p.m. I really do appreciate all you guys in here. Over 200 people in here for a late night stream like this after a big Mariners win. Super excited. Bryan Woo was fantastic. Gino with his first Mariners home run. Naylor with his first home run at T-Mobile. Just the vibes are high right now with this team. And we are in, we're lucky to be watching this right now because this is the best time to be a Mariners fan that I can in recent memory. Obviously, the vibes of 2022 were huge. The vibes of 2021 and the Bleav signs were huge. But this is different, man. And I feel like I say that every year. But this is different. this Mariners team has the opportunity to do something special. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys. Excited to talk to you guys again tomorrow, hopefully after another Mariners win. And, yeah, I'll see you then.